So I'm finishing this. Understood. Pongo esto acá. Okay. Chinese. What's that Chinese? What's that?
Life. It says life.
So let's begin from scratch. So
okay.
You are now where, Riza?
I'm in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands.
Amsterdam.
It's
Amsterdam.
Western Europe.
Amsterdam,
and you
Western
are,
Europe, yes.
and you are, Geraldo, you are based in
South America, Uruguay. Montevideo is the capital city.
Perfect.
I am Argentinian.
Perfect.
I am Argentinian.
Tell me.
I am Argentinian and I moved to Uruguay 16 years ago.
Okay, I'm also Turkish of origin, but I'm also Dutch-Turkish. So yes. I lived in the Netherlands for some time in the past. In between, I lived in UK, France, Turkey, whatever, and back to the Netherlands. For the last 5 years, back and forth. Since the pandemic, full-time, I'm in Amsterdam.
Yes. So I read that you were Turkish, and I always wonder, someone who reaches volunteering the first level of a coaching organization has a very special passion or talent to be here. I feel that as I see that you have reached, well, for me, EMCC is a very important organization. We will speak a little about it, but it is speaks very much from you of taking the responsibility of being president of a global organization. What inspires you to believe so much in coaching?
Well, I'm a banker, so nobody's perfect, okay?
Okay.
I've been a banker for 3 decades, and I've been a coach also for about almost 2 decades now. And when you bring two together, it's sometimes an amazing combination. Sometimes it doesn't work very well together. Sometimes it does. And I would say since the last financial crisis, 2010, I have grown more and more my practice in coaching and mentoring. And I would say my more focus on mentoring rather than coaching for the last 5 years or 6 years. And I was based in Turkey at that time. And I had the privilege to join EMCC there. Then they let me to have the leadership role. And over these 8 years or 7 years leading there, my term came to an end. And then there was an opening. There was the change in the global level. In EMCC, we have a council structure. So EMCC is a voluntary organization, and we have affiliated organizations everywhere. And Buenas tardes, Hilda.
Buenas tardes, Hilda is a fan of this cycle, and I really am glad she's here. And the people that will be here are people who believe that can be present, and the others one sees through YouTube. And this is an English conversation, so if Hilda doesn't, ¿cachás o no cachás? Porque si no traduzco.
Hello, nice to meet you. Hello, nice to meet you, Mr. Riza.
Hilda.
Bueno.
Nice to meet you.
Hilda.
We are meeting. She is from Venezuela. We are meeting with Riza and speaking in very confident way, because these conversations are very good, about the story of each of us. And él es turco, vivió en Turquía, se incorporó, trabaja en la banca, trabaja como coach, se incorporó a nivel local, después le dieron el espacio a nivel internacional, and now you are president of MCC.
And it happened in a way that when I finished my term, the second term, as the president of EMCC Turkey, we were about to move to the Netherlands. I was keeping my job in Turkey, but I was moving my family to the Netherlands. We have also Dutch connection. And at that time, I was still the president of EMCC Turkey, and my predecessor at global level, she finished her second or third term at that time, and there was a need for a change. And I didn't volunteer for the position. There were some other volunteers, but the selection committee, and it took time and everything, so we had a second run. And then I said, why not? And it was a unanimous decision, so they chose me as to serve at that capacity. So I finished my first term, and at the end of the first term, they said, continue another consensus for a second term. I don't have any intention for a third term, by the way. So it's tiring, it's great, it's passionate, it's meaningful, but change is needed. So I'm sure some other people will take it even further after my time. But I would say it's been a good time. We did a good job for the last 4 years. I would say. 4 years.
Okay, so you're finishing your term this year?
No, in 2 years' time.
Now you have 3 years more.
No, 2 more. It's
2 more. Okay. I thought you're finishing. I don't know why I thought you were finishing.
I'm in the process of changing things. So
good.
That's yet to come.
Good. We can make big things, and then I thought you were finishing. So yes, it would be very interesting to have a banker as a president volunteer of organization, which for a non-profit organization is very good. Él es banquero, así que tener un presidente de la banca en una organización sin fines de lucro puede ser bueno. But the important thing on this conversation to know each other is to feel, sentir what are we feeling that what is happening with coaching in this changing world. I've been working since 16, 18 years around these things, creating organizations, local organizations, leading organizations from Uruguay and regional as ICF, and then from IAC and all that story. And those were times where I think coaching was different from the need of today. Coaching era diferente a lo que necesita hoy. So I just always believe that a conversation between all the parts of the coaching should be needed. And the reality of the world show us, la realidad del mundo nos mostró que nos empuja a conversar juntos. Show us that we have to have a different conversation, that people have changed after this experience, that coaching has changed, has to have a certain evolution, and has to be, it's my idea, at the service of the communities where we live. That's the idea of Juntos, ¿no? Está al servicio de las comunidades que vivimos. And this is a very change, digamos, or a very challenging proposal for people as coaches. Es desafiante para personas como coaches who has a very open-minded, but don't touch my personal and individual business or organization, because we are different and we are the best, and we are, I always exaggerate, but what I mean is I have a very big respect for big organizations that work for professional coaching. I want to begin by that. But I feel that as they do an excellent work, and I want to clear up that you are not work, I put in the definition, no? The EMCC exists to develop, promote, and set expectations for best practice in mentoring, coaching, and supervision globally for the benefit of the society. The MCC should be MCCS, because supervision has been for the MCC an important part, which others organizations get late, no? Llegaron tarde a la supervisión. Our vision is to be the go-to body in mentoring, coaching, and supervisions. And I have run the way of being a coach, certified coach, a certified mentor, certified supervision in the hands of Damian, that you know him very well. And I'm very excited of what this have helped us. But as this have improved, I think that coaching has been changing in a different way of the structure manners that we wanted to do. So I want to be short. I believe that you have the responsibility and the capacity to certify and generate what the coaches should do and what the coaches what the coaches need to be. But I think there are many other things that coaches can do that we are not doing. And no one.
So ask the question first. Yeah. The question is.
The question is, do the organizations can work together, attending objectives country by country in a way that they can sit in a table and speak about getting together to work together to help the coaching go further?
The answer to the question is yes, but before I come to the answer, I should backtrack and maybe give a bit more insight.
Okay.
EMCC is inclusive, which means we are not just made of practitioners. Our members are, of course, most of them are practitioners. They are coaches or mentors or supervisors, but also they don't have to be. We also have the beneficiaries of coaching, so coachees, mentees, or the companies who are buying, who are using, they're also our members. And the
let me clear up that for the people who maybe, no sé si cachan el inglés, si Rubén y Graciela lo cachan, pero bueno, estamos hablando con una persona que es presidente de una organización internacional que es la EMCC, que me cuenta un poco que obviamente es una organización inclusiva, mayormente en Europa, y que de alguna forma incluye coaches, incluye mentores, supervisores, pero también incluye clientes. That's a surprise. I think I didn't knew very clearly. Incluye clientes, incluye empresas, gente vinculada al coaching.
Yeah, we're going to celebrate our 30th year, 30, next year. And since day one, the organization was established with 3 membership pillars: practitioners, the beneficiaries, and also academicians. So the founders of EMCC are academicians, and we are still doing lots of academic work, evidence-based research. So most of the business schools or the academic schools in the world, they do align their accreditation with us. I will come to accreditation in a minute. But the first thing I would say, I'm not here to representing coaching, okay? Coaches. The coaches are adults. They can find their own issues and problems and solutions. But I'm really standing up here for coaching and mentoring and supervision.
For the profession, not for the coaches. Para la profesión y no para los coaches.
Yeah, it's a bit the same thing, maybe nuanced, because truly, I do believe coaching, is a good idea to leave it to the coaches? Because coaching is today needed by everyone. 8 billion people need coaching. We did change our accreditation, for example, a few years ago. And now we do also offer accreditation for other professions who acquire coaching skills. We call it foundation level, very low level, but foundation level, still 20 hours of training, 50 hours of client work, whatever. But for example, if you're a police officer today, if you're an army officer, if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a teacher, if you're a parent, you need to have coaching skills, full stop.
But that's been done by the coaches who are member of the EMCC, not by the EMCC directly. O sea, hoy estamos coincidiendo con él que 8 billones de personas necesitan coaching. Eso, por suerte estamos de acuerdo en eso. Yes.
We call them training providers. We have about 400 training providers globally. Some of them are the big companies, big banks, global pharmaceutical companies or whatever. Because in every leadership development program today, there is an element of coaching and mentoring. So in this big bank or big pharmaceutical company, let's say American-based, but they accredit their program through Singapore office because they do have a coaching skills module in their leadership development program.
Let me understand, or let me try make the transition, meaning that you are not only attending schools or coaching professionals, but empresas, businesses who include in their organization coaching skills supervised by the EMCC. That would be an example. O sea,
not supervised. I will correct the word. This is not supervision. We provide the accreditation standards for their programs, and they run their programs.
But the people who run the programs in the business are coaches.
Coaches, or maybe they are, accountants, or maybe they are army officers, or they are nurse, or they are doctors, but they also have coaching competencies. They also have coaching skills. They also have individual accreditation. As a banker, I did always have a high-level coaching accreditation. So there is no such thing that, you should be only a coach or not. Many people in today's world, they do have a profession, but they also have to possess coaching skills. And this is also true for mentoring. So the first distinction, I'm not here for the coaches, I'm here for the coaching. And that's a big difference when it comes to our approach. The second thing is EMCC, we are fully aligned with the global higher education framework and the UNESCO lifelong learning framework, which means our accreditations follow the same methodology with the universities and with the higher education, or the upskilling, reskilling, the macro credentials that we do, lots of work, European Commission and everything, which means what we did as a change before my time, and it's the case for ICF, you go to a school, accredited school, you finish your school, and then you go back to the professional body to get your individual accreditation. Why? Universities, for example, they train you, they test you, and they give you your diploma. You don't go to another professional body to get your diploma. So what we did... Let
me make a resume for the people who is attending, maybe not so quickly to understand what you say. La primera cuestión, él está representando una organización que no trabaja para los coaches, sino para el coaching. Trabaja para la profesión. Trabaja para la idea de que hay 8 billones de personas que necesitan coaching, cosa que yo estoy totalmente convencido. Y desde ahí trabajan no solamente con 400 proveedores de training, sino que trabajan con un concepto de asistir a las empresas, que no tienen por qué ser coaches, para implementar programas que certifiquen o que lo formen en habilidades, y desde ahí pueden eventualmente certificar programas que una empresa como un banco, una farmacia o una gran empresa puede incorporar para entrenar a sus personas. No tienen por qué ser coaches, pueden ser contadores, pueden ser abogados, pueden ser lo que fuera. Es un concepto diferente. And the last thing is regarding the difference that you said y la diferencia maybe I didn't understand, but la idea esta de que una persona se recibe, se forma, y después tiene que ir a otra organización a certificarse nuevamente, ¿no? Repeat the certification that he got in the first instance, es algo que no queda muy claro. That's very interesting to hear, because I believe that, it's a very complicated way. Coaching is a very special skill that maybe you can have it with not so many needs of knowledge and specialization, but the attitude and the basics to be at the service of people.
For many other professions, let me tell you, Gerald, if I may, the adult learning procedures in the higher education framework and the reskilling of upskilling of workforce in the world are following the same methodology. You are an accredited coach, let's say, and you have your training school. And then we provide you with methodology to ensure that your program follows the Bloom taxonomy. It has the necessary reflective skills embedded. And we also make it sure that you have all the quality assurance. We ask you questions like, how do you make it sure that you want to reach your goal? And how will you measure your goals are reached? We call it external verification. These are all the same thing with universities, okay? So at the end of this process, you are A, an accredited coach at a certain level. B, your program follows the same methodology like universities, the adult learning, the global framework and everything. And we also incorporate the prior learning approach. So which means I don't need any other person to check on you, on your graduates, to give them their diploma or whatever. So what we make it sure that the entity, it could be a corporate, it could be a university, it could be your independent coaching school. It's a very robust, very difficult process. And we ask every year external verification, the reports. But once you get it, you are entitled to issue the individual accreditations at a certified level.
Okay, let me, o sea, el tema es, acreditamos coaches, acreditamos el programa de training de la escuela, usamos la metodología, la misma similar metodología de las universidades, y habilitamos a la posibilidad de que, bueno, de que esas mismas personas puedan acreditar coaches y no necesitan pasar por otro lugar para acreditar, ¿no? O sea que la escuela de Rubén podría tener la total autoridad de ser reconocida si estuviera, ¿no? A school, for example, we have people who have here a school, who have, who should make the routine of being accredited coach, accredited school, and then he can accredit the people, ¿no? As MCC coaches.
Exactly, exactly.
O sea, podrían acreditar como coaches MCC, okay.
We call it embedding. We embed the whole application process in the training. And at the end of the training, you finish, you fulfill all the requirements, and you get your individual accreditation, which means you are on the journey. Some of the people, we have 4 levels: foundation, practitioner, senior practitioner, and master practitioner. So let's say somebody gets on foundation level. That person can't stay at foundation level. Maybe he or she will continue to be a nurse. But some of them, they prefer to continue and they ongoing professional development.
Let me understand what is the foundation level. Let me understand what is for you the foundation level. O sea, el nivel básico would be el nivel de foundation. A nurse could be what?
Foundation level is very simple. Foundation level is 20 hours of direct training, 50 hours of client work, and at least 1 or 2 sessions of supervision. And of course, we have the application process that encompasses the reflective practice. We ask reflective practice articles or experience sharing or whatever. So at
and
the
these
end
people
of
in the foundation level, what a foundation level can do, a person with the foundation level?
You know, in coaching, you know, what you can do or you cannot do. Is there such a thing? You can do everything without, but what we believe, it's a celebration. It is to start your journey, to be able to have the base. We have a competence framework, and there are key performance indicators, and the foundation level assessed some key performance indicators. But basically, you can claim that you know the basic skills of coaching.
Okay, what you're saying is very important for us because you know that there are different cultures, no? Latin American cultures have certain beliefs, and lo que está diciendo es que hay un primer nivel fundacional que tiene 20 horas de formación, 50 horas de trabajo con cliente, 2 sesiones de supervisión, una serie de evaluaciones, y eso ya te da el primer nivel para que vos puedas decir que tenés un conocimiento básico. You know, in Latin America, they would say, no, just get out about 20 hours. You need 2 years and a very, I would say, another kind of just to be called coach. This is what we hear. No sé si estamos de acuerdo en Latin America.
Wait. It's all about educating the buyers, because we also have as our members the buyers, the beneficiaries, okay? Because if you believe that you're going to pay for a coaching service, you may be willing to look for a practitioner level. You may be willing to for senior practitioner level. You might be willing to look for master practitioner level. But we can't exclude people who are never going to make money out of coaching, but they want to use coaching skills in their own professional development.
Okay.
Why to rule them out? Because we don't have to create coaches, because at the end of the day, what did we achieve? ICF has 50,000, we have about 12,000. This is what? 50,000 accredited professionals in the world for 8 billion people. This is what we have achieved so far in 30 years' time. There are 500,000 commercial airline pilots, and they don't have a coach. Because at the end of the day, the coaching, being a privileged service for privileged people, is so captively left in such a small communities in the world. It's great money for organizations, but who cares? The real impact of coaching stayed very limited. And today, I'm going to touch this, with technology coming into play, we are marginalized. We are so small. I'm just doing a work with an app. It's they call them Mental Coach. It's Meditopia. They have 30 million users all over the world, and they're incorporating coaching services in their program. If they are successful, suddenly 30 million people will receive coaching skills or training or support. And we are still debating.
Let me more or less rephrase. Lo que estamos hablando es de que obviamente, una persona que quiera tener las habilidades de coaching, que quiera hacer el nivel fundacional, que quiera manejar el coaching en su vida, en su actividad, va a tener un reconocimiento que requiere ese plan básico. Y de alguna forma, después uno puede elegir un practitioner, un senior practitioner, un master practitioner, lo que fuera. But I agree absolutely que hay una necesidad de coaching de millones de personas sobre los cuales hay que crear una fórmula o un aspecto que permita ampliar el tema, ya sea por simplificar el aprendizaje o lo que ofrecen. Incluso estamos hablando de la tecnología, de cómo esto está llegando, ¿no? The technology app that you're speaking about is including coaching systems between an app, ¿no?
There are different models, but yes, we are seeing the coach hubs, like Better Up in US, Coach Up in Europe, the 3,000 coaches serving for a company, or we have some algorithms, or we have some chat type of coaching. So many things are emerging today, and still we are debating whether a foundation level is a good level or not, whatever. Let's move on. Let's give 8 billion people foundation levels, then we will see how these people will appreciate the quality of coaching. So it's not about creating barriers. It's about educating the whole buyers, the whole network. This is where our passion is.
I do believe this is music for my ears. Esto es música para mis oídos, la idea y la filosofía de poder entender que el mundo, porque yo eso es lo que yo entiendo, en el mundo cambio hay muchas cosas nuevas, hay que aceptar y poner menos límites, less limits, less structures, and openness to be coaching a real help for people.
You know, because I feel so confident, our competence framework starts with self-awareness. It's all based on reflective practice. So we never ask, what did you do? In ICF application, you have lots of boxes to tick, and then you get it with numbers and crunching and everything. And ICF is also changing now. Basically, we ask, what would you do with it? In our application forms, in our application for coaching skills and accreditation, we ask, you know, what would you do with your learning? What would you do with this experience? How life will be a different one? You know, who are you as a coach? What brings you to coaching? You know, these kind of fundamental questions, and it's a journey, okay? At whatever level you are, you can have a different answer to those questions. And every single professional development, including supervision, and we pay a lot of attention to supervision. It is a standalone standards, competency framework, and everything. It all helps for people to continue to celebrate, to develop their practice. So basically, we have to reach out a large audience. We have to really educate the buyers, the coachees, and then among them, some of them will continue their journey with our competency framework to become a better coach or more effective coach or whatever they would like to do. But basically, we provide the methodology and the platform for people to flourish.
Entonces, la filosofía es esa, es ofrecer la plataforma para que la gente vaya evolucionando, creciendo a su forma, a su nivel, y en base a preguntas concretas, ¿no? Que están en sus formularios, que indagan sobre para qué vas a usar esto, quién, how are you going to do it, para qué lo querés, cómo lo vas a usar. Y es un proceso de formación continua. I do believe that coaching is a ¿cómo se dice? Never finish evolution.
It's life.
It's life, that's right. But this means that you are looking, ustedes lo están viendo con una visión un poco más amplia. You're looking at it with an open view, giving possibility to people at the different level to be doing coaching, o sea, aceptando que las personas en su distinto nivel, including clients of coaches who take conscience, can be considered as a first level of coaches. O sea, incluso los clientes que reciben coaches que evolucionan pueden ser considerados como el primer nivel. What I hear is a more open, una forma más abierta de ver esta cosa y no una forma media clasista como en Latinoamérica de que o sos coach o no sos coach, o estás terminando o hiciste todo lo que tenías que hacer y si no, no lo sos, y si no hiciste, o sea, that's a very important distinction. And the question is, does this have, porque the question would be here, is that professional? Is that helps the profession? Is that a conflict, or should we, because this is what I stand for, should we decide which is the minimum level to be a coach?
Tell you, already when you go through our key performance indicators in our competency framework, when you fill in your form with at least 5 reflective practice questions, and once you have your supervision, even if it's 20 hours of training, let me tell you, my friend, you really possess lots of skills and knowledge and experience, especially once you add 50 hours of, so foundation level is already a serious level.
Okay. Entonces, el nivel fundacional es lo suficientemente serio para tener las habilidades básicas. Las 5 preguntas claves de la práctica reflexiva, porque un poco esto que se repite de la práctica reflexiva, coaching es un proceso reflexivo que yo lo veo. I mostly heard reflective word as a practice of supervision. No, this has been changing.
At every level. At every level. Our competence framework starts with self-awareness. The coaching starts with you. You understand your reflective practice. Yes. Then you can kind of reach out, use models, or you can do the coaching development, and then you have to measure your progress. It's a circular model we have. It's not a linear model. You start with self-awareness, and then you apply client work, models, acumen, everything, and then you finish with your self-evaluation, and then you go back to your self-awareness. So that's why wherever you join our circle, and let me add one more thing, your question about professional bodies coming together. We are inclusive, which means years ago we put forward, together with another organization, a global code of ethics, okay? And now there are 9 organizations who have signed the global code of ethics. It doesn't belong to us.
That's a great step. 9 organizaciones globales que están poniéndose de acuerdo con el código de ética. Okay.
It is not our web page. We are not like on top of logo or whatever. So we are one of the 9 organizations. And now there is the 3rd version coming. All 9 organizations works together for this global code of ethics. The only professional body who refused to stay there is ICF. ICF said, because ICF, they want to have a captive system. It's great. They make a lot of money, but it doesn't help, okay?
Let me understand that, because I want to understand.
One more thing, if I may, one more thing. For example, when I say we're inclusive, in our accreditation, if you are accredited with ICF or AC or Apex or whatever, we have fast track. We recognize.
Hay caminos más cortos. Si estás acreditado en ICF o en las otras, tenés caminos más cortos para ser parte de EMCC, aun cuando, which I understood, is que ICF, que aceptó, por un lado, el pacto, digamos, el acuerdo de ética, because they accepted the ethic pact, but they didn't accept what?
We still ask reflective practice questions, we still ask you to fill in the form, but we recognize that you are already at a certain level with ICF. But ICF never does this. So I had many conferences, interviews with the president, with Magda or whatever, and I repeat the same thing. Why don't you? And they always say, yeah, that's a good idea, we should work together, but it never comes.
Bueno, that's the most important thing of this conversation. Esta idea de que con toda la simpatía y la buena relación que tienen con las organizaciones, siempre hay un punto en el que ICF, which I respect, I recognize, se resiste a poder trabajar juntos. You know that my only vision is work together, and together is the invitation. I can show you, and I love what you say. No, you speak, you propose, and you don't know why, but they don't want. What would be the limit they have on that? What would be the limit? Because
One of the reasons I may understand, they are so successful in North America, and they already achieved lots of things in North America for their members, so they don't want to lose this, and I do respect this, that's great. But on the other hand, my problem is, in every country, coaching is fragmentalized.
I'm sharing an image. I don't know if you can see it. I'm sharing an image which is, I put it in English now, the missing conversation, no? That would be sitting in a table, associations, schools, and coaches, independent or whatever, thinking what we can do together and how we can work together to attend what is happening on the profession and outside the profession.
Actually, Gerardo, we have the coaching alliance. We already have the alliance. We already talk a lot. With many countries, at many countries, we have joint committees, joint work, but it never comes recognizing each other when it comes to global level. That's the missing part. And what's the problem? It's the problem because coaching is fragmented.
Coaching is fragmented. Explain that. Coaching is fragmented in what level?
Let me explain. In the Netherlands, for example, we have about 5,000 members. ICF has about 2,000 members. But in the Netherlands, there are almost 80,000 people who call themselves a professional coach. They invoice their clients for coaching service. So for 80,000 people, is the largest professional body, we have only 4,000 or 5,000 members. In Germany, the same. In every country, I would say, the total number of people who call themselves coach is maybe 20 times of our membership. So that's a problem, because wherever I go to any authority, government, supranational, whatever, they ask us whether we do represent the profession. And we say, yeah, 3 of us, we come together and we make 10%. It doesn't work that way. We need to
Riza, I'm showing here in your global page the countries that you attend from the global area, okay?
Yeah.
And you cover Asia Pacific, and you cover really an impressive area on Europe and Asia, which I see more or less, okay? And I know that you have introduced something in Latin America, and I don't know, I don't find here USA, or I don't find, digamos, other regions, which maybe the question is, do we have to have all the same structures and the same organizations all around the world, or we can work together to create something more powerful in a united conversation to cover more in an easy way what is happening or what is needed?
If I may say, this is the continuation of the legacy, okay? It's a council structure. It was established like European Council model. And now we have Latin America coming on board. I think this month or next month, they are doing the big launch or whatever. So they're already signed everything. So it's coming.
I'm expecting them in a year. You know that we get in touch. You told me to go there. I never have an answer. And when I am so anxious and so being developed in Latin America to international organizations, I said, bueno, EMCC is very slowly. I will wait. But I have esa cuestión de querer desarrollar las organizaciones. Está Latinoamérica por hacer su lanzamiento, pero bueno, viene lento. But okay, the thing is that
let me finish, yes. Please. For example, in North America, we looked a lot because we have lots of connections in America, North America, in US and Canada. And today we have the team coaching accreditation. We did with 500 top leaders, global research. We have the standards, and we tested with 3 programs, and now we roll it out with all universities and program team coaching. And at the end of this 3 pilot, we have now 1,200 people in USA, in North America, who are accredited with EMCC with team coaching skills, which means we already have a very strong presence in North America, but we don't have the flag. Do we have to have the flag? Do we have to really have a local organization there? Maybe not.
Maybe not. No, I don't say. I am saying that. I'm saying that there should be a more coordinated effort between. If your effort, me comentaba que bueno, ellos tienen un desarrollo de team coaching. Desarrollo de coaching de grupos, I would say, o de equipos, una acreditación especial con sus habilidades, se expandieron, por supuesto, en todas sus áreas, pero también en Estados Unidos con 1.200 personas acreditadas. La pregunta es, ¿tenemos que tener una organización en Estados Unidos? Yo digo, no, yo digo, se puede complementar. Complementar significa trabajar con lo mejor de cada una de las áreas que tienen su fortaleza y crear así algo más grande. That's my innocent vision.
And going forward, look, I think it's not the boundaries, it's not the geographies, it's not the frontiers or whatever, but maybe it's language. Still, we haven't overcome the language issue. But language-wise, we can have a different structure now, because if we have a top quality conference in Spain, many people speak the same language. Why do we call it Spain only? It could be really a major part, or French. Many people in Asia speak French or whatever. So, the same thing with German, with every language. So what I really believe, and we are going through our strategic work now, so, I'm really working on those things. Going forward, we will keep our governance model. There are very good pluses with our governance model, but at the same time, we are developing more and more centrally processed services for people all over the world, because, basically frontiers or geography doesn't exist. So we need to adapt to those requirements, and we are doing this now. All the, for example, accreditation centrally processed, and membership is also moving towards that. That will bring more harmony, I believe, among our members or our partners.
Es importante lo que dice en términos que parecería ser que se entiende, that's a mental structure, que el lenguaje termina siendo como una límite más que las fronteras, se impone como el lenguaje, ¿no? Y de repente se piensa que, bueno, que si es español se hace en España, o si es francés se hace en Francia, y en el mundo hay un montón de personas que hablan el mismo idioma, o ese idioma. Entonces hay una concepción ahí para ganar que implica cómo trabajar diferente el desarrollo. What I hear, lo que yo escucho es que es una forma diferente, what you're doing, and that's the reason that you are still 2 years more, esa es la razón por la cual lo mantienen. Ha hecho una expansión muy abierta, muy democrática y muy útil para un criterio diferente al que pueden haber en otros continentes. You have made a development of opening coaching that would be different, with a different mentality as the ones you could find in other continents. No?
Yeah, look, this is coaching, isn't it? So I can't really claim I know anything better than you do. I do value your experience. I am okay, you are okay. We have to abide with the same code of ethics. We have to abide with the same methodology, because certain methodologies are proven, the accreditation or whatever. And then for the rest, I think we have to really enjoy the diversity, the differences between ourselves. So when we feel together, I think that's real inclusion. And this is what we are trying, or we are doing our best to achieve. So whenever you attend our sessions, whenever you attend our conferences, people do feel warm. This is the feeling we would like to promote more and more, to have a feeling of belonging to something larger, to something, good for society, good for life in general. So this is our attitude. And I hope it works. So far, so good. And hopefully we will see even better results in the years to come, I hope.
I really thank you what you are saying. And I just smiled when you said, I go to conversations, yo voy a conversaciones con otras organizaciones y les digo qué pasa y qué no pasa. I have the opportunity, this week we are closing, esta semana estamos cerrando este ciclo, and I have the opportunity and the pleasure to speak with you and hear what you are saying, which is for me music on the thinking of that it's possible to think different and to open and to think simple about coaching and to see para ver objetivos que van más allá de la estructura donde if you are not part of me, you are not a coach. Si vos no sos parte de mí, no sos un coach. And we will have, I hope, on Thursday a conversation, which you are invited if you want to reach with Magda, to understand and to share, which is what the possibility or the idea, vamos a compartir la idea, of those basic principles that have to do to attend, I will use them in English, to attend what is the agenda, no? Which means is there a possibility to have an agreement on these points? En los que están acá ya conocen la agenda, ya conocen la página, la pongo en inglés. It would have sense to sit in that table and say, well, let's agree this. I would add a part, what we can do each with our strengths, cómo podemos usar nuestras fortalezas en cada una de las organizaciones para ayudar a que la profesión en cada país, en cada continente funcione, ¿no? To address this country by country or continent by continent. Is this have sense for you?
Most of the questions here may find their answers in the Global Code of Ethics, because there's already the Global Code of Ethics that really kind of answers some of these questions. And yes. I think for example, ICF doing a great job, really great job in really, yes, for example, they donated this amazing sum of money to Harvard Medical Center to enhance the research in coaching and everything. So these are excellent, wonderful things. All I don't like is, I don't want like me against others. We should all kind of come together. And the Global Code of Ethics is a great example. So this is the basics. And then we do recognize their good work. They should recognize our good work. So it's like the common ground. And then it's about educating the buyer. For example, I can give you an example. Hungary, the government passed a law last year. Just overnight, they abolished coaching, okay? The law says you cannot practice any profession if you didn't have the training from a Hungarian university. And
let me clear a little for the people. So hay dos cosas. Muchas de las cosas que la agenda que nosotros tenemos para RIZA están concebidos en el Código Global de Ética. Algunas cosas están concebidas y quizás las cosas que quizá él observa como oportunidad de mejora, donde ICF ha hecho increíbles avances en su desarrollo desde la fundación, ha hecho increíbles donaciones para centros médicos, etc. Y se reconoce, yo le reconozco el trabajo a todos, esta última posición de yo contra todos. Y esto es importante para entender, ¿no? Esta cuestión de yo soy, que también le pasa a algunas organizaciones latinas y demás, ¿no? Yo soy diferente y los demás no funcionan. Durante muchos años vivimos en esa situación donde existía un solo criterio hasta que se globalizó. Entonces, esta cuestión de me against others is a great opportunity. And when you speak about the world, what I'm showing here, I don't put it in English, is the other agenda that I am thinking. The world is asking for something different to attend. The world is suffering the intolerance, violence, insecurity, polarity, discrimination, and not inclusion, and whatever. Pandemia and economic uncertainty. There are many challenges in the world that we should understand before we stand up me against others, ¿no? And so hay muchos desafíos en el mundo que juntos podemos hacer antes de de pararnos en yo contra todos, ¿no? That's that's one of the points that I am addressing.
We are not still there. I can't claim coaching will solve humanity's problems.
No.
I think coaching helps to decrease the price you pay for your life. We all pay a price for our lives, okay? It's sometimes monetary, sometimes non-monetary, psychological. And we do have some burden. For any kind of life we lead, there's a price attached, okay? Once you know your coaching skills, when you know self-awareness, when you tame your inner voice, it helps to decrease this price. So that's why I'm so passionate for all humanity to learn these basic skills about who is speaking now, what do I really want, what's stopping me, these kind of very basic questions we should be able to ask, and the compassion. It is so difficult to be compassionate.
I love what you're saying, and I will translate this and I will write it, because you're saying very important things. But just for the people, just for the record, is, if I understood correctly, el coaching paga o baja el costo, lower the cost of life, ¿no? El costo de vida, permite reducir o bajar el costo que nos cuesta vivir. That's the idea. And, ¿en qué forma, si todos pudiéramos tener esas mínimas habilidades, cómo nos ayudaría a todos a vivir mejor? O sea, I know that it won't resolve those big problems, but when you resolve, or you share, or you open el poder que tiene, the power of coaching, to help people to understand and answer those questions that you are asking, the observer changes and the possibility changes and the relation, because we are a result of our relations. That's the big thing. If we don't relate, if we are against one with other, if we want to have the reason, we want to have the, you know, me against other speaks that I have the truth and others don't have it. So that's the power of coaching. And maybe what I understand, lo que entiendo de esto, del poder del coaching, es poder aceptar que el coaching con poco puede hacer mucho. I always said, many years ago, I am saying, the coaching with little things can do big things. O sea, con poco, with the structure, what you said, no? The foundation level can do big things on people. And that's, I agree, absolutely. So that we're working for. How can we sit in the table? So if you can be on Thursday, it's going to be great, because I will send you the thing. For me, it's, you don't know, I've been working for this in the last 60 years, about in the last 5 years, insisting on those things, and I think we have changed the language, you know? People would never speak about community. Organizations would never speak about community. Organization would never speak about together. We would never speak about family. We never speak about inclusion. And in this late years, I think, and as being as modest as I am, things are changing, and I am very glad for that. And the last thing is to see that it's possible to join that conversation and to say change me against other, we against or in favor of the world. That would be what we need. And I want to congratulate you. I will go to show it más para profundidad con la página. There is a Spanish version about all what you said in this page, ¿no es cierto? Hay una versión española.
I need to check. We need to improve a lot our systems. We are working on the internal systems now. We need to improve, but I will check. But the basic things are there. Yes,
I showed recently the page, and I see it. And last year I did my supervision training. That get me involved with EMCC, and I've been in a Congress. We saw each other in a pair of Congress. O sea, la página de EMCC la he visto desde el año pasado cuando hice la formación de supervisión. He estado en algunos congresos. And I think you have a very big, important information on there, which I will share in my page. I always have a space for each of the organizations. I've lost the last page, but I will make an actualization on that. And I think it's interesting. I'm very glad to have this conversation, because it's an open opportunity. Es una gran oportunidad para abrir un poco la cabeza a quienes escuchen esto y a quienes lo vean después y a quienes... And if you are on Thursday, I'm going to make an invitation for you and for others to make a kind of that meeting, formal meeting, someday in the 2022, including, you know, the South American Federation, Ontologic Federation, which also was in these conversations, and see, bueno, if there are possibilities, because everyone is working. Everyone wants to invent, I would say, we all want to invent the dynamite, what do we say, the pólvora, and I think I have an example, maybe I can show it or not. We have, pasamos un año, we have a year of pandemia, and now we are worried about Omicron. And last year was all the COVID thing. And this year was the vaccination. And my question is, what would happen if all, instead of running to have the best vaccine, would work together to get the best vaccine for the world? This is the example I always use to see in coaching, which is the vaccine for the mind. if we would work together to create the best way coaching can help the world in the mind.
On the other hand, we should be inclusive. I mean, if you give the authority to one person, and if that entity is captive, it will be bad. I think whoever has this, like the central body, should be open enough to get new things. I think coaching is evolving. We are learning new things. The neuroscience is evolving. So we shouldn't really be the barrier. We shouldn't be the obstacle for change. We should be able to really look for new things. So that's why, yes, there should be one, but maybe not. Competition is good. For example, the vaccine. The good thing, there is an authority who approves or not, but there are many people are trying to find the best way. Maybe they make mistake, but the humanity doesn't just follow one path, different paths, hopefully coming to the same. The same for coaching. I think we are all trying different things, but the basic goal is there. And to reach the basic goal in the most efficient way, yes, we need to compete. But again, concrete example, team coaching. We did this research for 2 years, 500 people everywhere in the world. And we came up with something. It's not perfect, but something, okay? We tested, it works, we roll it out. And now ICF said they want to have their own team coaching competency framework. Why? Take ours, work on it, make it better, and then we will also accept this. But instead of starting with something already been done, they want to scratch from zero to create their own. British Psychological Society, last week, I learned that they would like to create a new competency framework for coaching. I told them the same thing. We have this. It's been proven for 30 years, or maybe 15 years in this case. Take it, work on it, make it better, and give it back to us all together. The whole community. It shouldn't be EMCC competency framework. It should be the competency framework. Everybody should really improve it together. It's open source. So I don't know. It's ego. The coaching, I think one of the things that really prevents
ego. That's the magic word, you know, everybody stands. La palabra ego la entendemos los coaches hasta el fondo y le hemos hablado muchas veces. It's the worst virus on coaching.
But okay, I'm not against ego. Okay, I'm also kind of banker. Okay, ego is there. But ego is good to move you forward. It shouldn't be prevent you to more or prevent others. So we need the power, we need the motivation to do things more. That's okay. But we should know where to stop to let others to also grow.
I agree. I hope the world that is showing us each day is asking, you saw some visuals. The world is asking all the time, hey, people, you have to change because I will still make volcanoes work. I will still make storms. I will still make floods. I will still make whatever, climate change, whatever. And if you don't change, I will go to beat you again. So I believe maybe in a very more, epic way that we have to attend those things, that we have as coaches a responsibility, and working together is the idea. I would love to have this conversation 2 hours more, but I know that your time is important. And you don't know how grateful I am for what we have shared and what we're opening here, no? And what we're opening here, when I mean to share what EMCC and your thinking can help to the Latin American coaching, because I think there's a great opportunity to change, y no sé si Hilda estás pescando un poco, pero la idea de que la mentalidad de lo que aporta en este caso Riza es una apertura diferente a la forma de encarar y ver los compartimientos estancos de coaching latinoamericano, y entonces estoy contento de volver a clarificarlo, aunque uno lo pudiera tener como idea, y de ver cómo lo podemos expandir desde lo que es Juntos Somos Más y tomar algo del modelo. So, if there is, there is a tradition in these meetings. If someone has something to say, and I know that yo sé que no estuve muy hábil traductor porque lo dejé hablar, pero si alguien tiene una pregunta, o una cuestión, o una inquietud, cualquiera sea, está abierta a compartirla. En español yo la traduzco, lo que sea. Quiero agradecerles la paciencia. Yo esto, cuando lo subo a YouTube, viene el transcriptor, se traduce y lo que sale, algo va a salir. Si hay alguna pregunta o algún comentario, I ask people to make in this conversation, be part of the conversation. If there is a question, if there is something to ask, welcome it is. ¿Alguna cuestión? If not, we can.
I think I should really thank to Mirta and Hilda. They have been really listening so attentively. They have already contributed a lot. Thank you very much for your presence here.
Okay, thank you, and we will see you. I'll send you the thing for Thursday. Thank you very much, and this is the beginning of a conversation. Okay.
Excellent.
See you.
Thank you.